Good morning, everybody. Today we are looking at For Whom the Bell Tolls by J.C. Lynn, the first couple of chapters at least. Now, maybe it's just lingering feelings from the emotional gut punch I just read about another dying cancer patient, but this was a depressing start. Of course, that's not a bad thing. This book is very upfront about what it is, and these opening chapters are very short. We don't get much insight into any of the cast just yet, but Lily is obviously getting the most focus. Her family mentioned almost in passing, though to be fair, her mental state is not going to have much bandwidth for their consideration, and it's unlikely that we're going to see much of them in the rest of the book. Mind you, this is not a negative criticism of literally 7 pages out of a 621-page story. The vibe I'm getting is that Lily is in the worst state possible she can imagine. She is going to die. She cannot afford treatment, and even if she could, it would still be a life in pain, just longer. She knows it's going to devastate her family, but there's only so much that she can focus on as she feels what little time remains slipping away. And I'm sure that the family had their heartfelt last moments together, but we aren't really shown much of that because in Lily's mind, there's only so much she can process. She thinks about how her job and healthcare could not manage it, despite being a relatively decent paying job, about her self depreciating humor, valuing herself basically as a budget used car. Now, mind also, I am not criticizing her tattoos as her family might, something that she has as a point of pride for herself. It's a point of her own thinking based on exchanges that she is reminiscing on. When it comes to stories that start with, here's our protagonist, and by the way, they're dead, we're not going the route of Yu Yu Hakusho, where he's the unexpected hero, or Zombieland Saga's comedic Frankenstein's idol singers, or even the transported or reincarnated into a fantasy world with superpowers. Lily is just dying, and she knows it. She hates it. We know that the book is about an afterlife, and from what I've seen of the author's TikTok series, it's going to be an interesting and probably a pretty sassy fantasy story. But for now, Lily is torn apart. This kind of loss for both people in Lily's position and those who lost someone in the same way, it's not something that I've personally experienced, but it hits hard even for the very little time that it's given in these first couple of chapters. As a first time reading, I'm sure we will see plenty of flashbacks and memories as things progress, but a part of me does wonder how much time the writer spent juggling the thought of having more build up to Lily's passing at the start of the story. Either way, I think this was handled pretty well, given that the reader is being put on a fast track to the afterlife, which is the main part of the story. That narrative in the way sort of feels rushed, but rushed in a way that Lily is experiencing for herself.